John le Carré, in his own words. Intimations, broadcast on BBC Television, 8th of February 1966.
I love countryside, and I love the peace it brings. I like the balance that to go off and collect material, to top up the batteries and to come down here and burn alone is what I like, and to walk over these shaven hills and populate them with the creatures of my own imagination. For me, a tremendous experience. I love it.
Was there any connection at all in your family with such isolated living? Did anybody, looking back, did anybody take themselves off and live?
No, quite the reverse. I was brought up, at least in my early childhood, by my grandparents and their family. And they were extremely together, and everybody knew what everybody was doing in each room. And I've always been brought up, I think, in a world without books and without self-entertainment. And it wasn't until I was really in my late teens that I was conscious of being an extremely private person in the group.
When you say together, the integration came, a great deal of it, through religion, didn't it?
It came in the early times through religion imparted by my grandmother and her children. It also came through stress, because my father, who's now dead, had appalling financial troubles and an amazing Micawber-like talent for messing up his business adventures, so that he was often, to put it its most polite, away. And so that my education was taken over by people who were very much concerned about the way I might go, and who were trying to replace the disciplines of an absent father. So that religion, both in my early childhood and later when I got to public school, to Sherborne, which I really profoundly hated, was offered to me as an alternative to life's temptations.
Your mother died when you were very young, didn't she?
No, she didn't die. No, she's alive. But for a whole lot of complex family reasons, I didn't see her after the age of about 5 until the age of about 21.
And with your father away, did you feel in that sense, I mean, is it too easy to say that you felt rather deserted in that way?
Yes, I think I felt deserted. And the most hypnotic thing, if I am self-indulgent and think about that time, is how little I remember. And insofar as writing is a solitary experience where one dredges around in one's subconscious, I often think that the things that come to me perhaps belong to that rather closed-off time in my life. I'm aware now and then of great surges of self-pity about being alone at that time and not knowing where my mother was and not knowing where my father was also. But much more than that, I think it threw me inwardly upon my own resources. The social pretensions of my father, his ambitions, all were entirely middle class. He longed, as a grammar school boy, as a very talented man, and a very flawed one, he longed to make of me a respectable guy. And I think that the attraction which institutions had for me was an extension of his own longing to get me into the law, for instance, or to get me to be a doctor. And really out of that childhood I found myself propelled towards Eton as a schoolmaster, the brand names, the good housekeeping certificate professions, from there to the Foreign Office. And I was really looking for somebody who didn't exist. I'm not by nature in the least respectable.
When you say it was Micawber-like, when you saw him and were with him, did he illuminate your childhood? Do you remember that?
Yes, and these monster daddy figures who appear sometimes in the books, these portraits of beguiling evil, I think, emanate also from a wish to come to terms with an extremely explosive and dynamic.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?